welcome back to my channel. Today's video is kind of an instructional video that I've been meaning to do for a wee while. So I've been seeing loads lately, people posting videos and different kind of blog posts and stuff like that around the internet on using red lipstick to conceal under eye circles or dark circles, and it's kind of blown up loads lately and there's a lot of misinformation out there. So being a makeup artist who studied painting in art college, colour correction and colour theory is something I know quite a lot about, so I thought I'd let you know a little bit about what concealing with lipstick means and how to do it properly. So as I mentioned before, it's colour correction rather than concealing when it comes to using a lipstick. And the idea behind this is when you look at the colour wheel, that you use colours opposite your problem colour to blank out or to totally eradicate the problem colour, if that makes sense. So as you can see here, purple is opposite yellow on the colour wheel. So if you have a lot of purple discoloration around the eye, which is what I tend to have, you would use kind of a yellow or a peachy yellow colour corrector to help cancel that out. You can see here that blue is opposite orange on the colour wheel, so if you had more dark blue or just very cool tones around the eye area, you would use orange to help cancel that out. So the rule of thumb is that you need warm colours to cancel out cool colours and vice versa. So most people know that you can use green to cancel out redness on the skin, but a lot of people don't realise that there are other colour correcting colours out there, such as lilac, which would be used to help brighten or colour correct more kind of sallow or almost olivey yellowy tones and some skin tones. So the idea that you'd use red to colour correct dark circles around the eyes isn't exactly spot on, because red is opposite green on the colour wheel, so unless you have green discoloration around the eyes, I would avoid it. If you actually look at a lot of those tutorials about concealing or correcting with red, it's actually an orange red that they use. Most usual, this colour that I have on my lips today, which is Lady Danger by MAC. So it does need to have that orange undertone that's going to counteract those blue or just very dark cool undertones or discoloration around the eyes. For my own skin tone though, I need to use a very, very light orange, which would be more described as a light peach. And then there are other colours that I'd use depending on the depth of colour. So this would be what I would go for light skin. This is Salute by MAC. This was actually limited edition, but it's very like Pure Zen or even Shy Girl. So you can see there it's a light, almost yellow toned peach, which is great for purple discolorations around the eyes. It has enough of an orange tone in it that it'll help knock out the blue, but it's also not too warm that it'll work on the purple as well. So this is what I would choose for lighter skin tones. For a more medium skin tone, I would go for something like this, which is slightly more peachy coral, and it's a little bit deeper. This is Ravishing by MAC. So this would be better for more darkness on the skin, where this would be too ashy used over it, and especially to match deeper skin tones as well, you'd want something there that has more depth of colour. And then of course this is the one that a lot of people seem to use in some of their tutorials. It is this intense bright orange, and this is what I would use to knock out the darkest of discolorations and also use it on darker skin tones. Now there is place for Lady Danger, and that is on very, very dark skin tones again. So, but that is as red as I would go. I would not go any more red than that, and again I would only use it on the darkest of skin tones. So that'll give you an idea of what to aim for your own skin tone or for your own skin colour. And then another way where you might actually use these for colour correction is on tattoos, because tattoos, particularly black ones, as they fade with age, will turn more of a bluey colour, so you'll have that just very, very cool toned blue colour that you want to knock out if you do want to cover your tattoo. So what you would need to do is cover it over with probably one of these three last ones depending on your skin tone, and make sure then that you let it set for a little bit and go over with your concealer, and that's how you would help to knock out those really intense strong tones coming from tattoos. So the idea with colour correction is that it's a step you do before concealing. So you colour correct and then you conceal, because colour correction will knock out the colour and then concealer will bring it into tone with the rest of your face, and that's pretty much how you do it. So I'm going to show you now how I colour correct my dark purple under eyes but on a very light skin tone, and I'll also show you how to colour correct some redness on the skin using this green colour corrector stick by Max Factor. So colour correcting comes before your foundation and concealer, but after your skin prep. So make sure you apply a little bit of primer if you need to before you apply your colour correcting. Then choose whichever lipstick is suitable for your skin tone and start to apply it to the discoloration only. I probably applied a little bit more here than I needed, but it's important to just apply it where needed. It will knock out colour where the discoloration or where the opposite colour is, but if you apply it over skin that isn't discoloured, it will just turn up as orange. And you can use either your fingers or a brush or a sponge to blend it in at this stage, just to make sure to blend it in as well as possible and make sure it's not too obvious over any non-discoloured areas. Then for any redness on the face, I went in with this green correction stick, which actually kind of is more of a mint, and then use my fingers again just to blend this in place. Over more general redness, you can be a little bit more liberal with it, and I do like to use this as well underneath my brow arch because it just creates a really light highlight there. You can use yellow toned concealer to colour correct redness as well, but it has to be a neutral yellow or a very cool yellow. You can't use a yellow with any orange or warmth to it. Then for spot correcting or spot concealing redness, you need to just apply it over the redness. Don't let it spread too far past the redness because otherwise it will just look too light and ashy. So on my spots, I keep it very, very localized, but on my chin, for instance, where it's red kind of all over, I can be again a little bit more liberal. Another place I can get quite red is on my eyelids, so I will apply a little bit of colour correction sometimes here if I'm not going to be using eyeshadows throughout the day as well. And because this was red all over to begin with, it doesn't actually look green once it's patted in. Then once you've colour corrected, it's time to apply your concealer and your foundation, and for me it's really important to use a sponge here. If you use a brush and buff in the product over it, you're just going to move and dilute that colour correction that you applied. But if you use a damp sponge, what you'll do is bounce and kind of blend the colour in place without actually moving any of the product underneath. So if you can get your hands on a damp sponge, it'll be the best thing to make it look natural and to save the colour correcting product that you applied underneath without moving it. So bounce your concealer over place and make sure it's a concealer that matches your skin tone. You can always highlight again in a wee while on top. And the same with your foundation. Use one that of course matches your skin tone and use a damp sponge to bounce this in place, taking care over any of the colour corrected areas that you're not taking away product or going too heavy or too heavy handed. And as I mentioned before, then you may want to highlight or brighten over the corrected area. And I definitely do think this is better to leave this as a separate step, because if you highlight over a dark under eye circle or anywhere where it's a little bit darker discoloured, it'll actually turn out more ashy than highlighted. So you're better off to colour correct and conceal first and then leave your highlighting till the end, and you can see here that it just really brightens up the whole area by doing that. And finally, with so many layers in play, it can be a good thing to set everything in place with a very finely milled powder. And again, just use your damp sponge to press this in place underneath the eye, making sure that there's no lines or anything there before you set it in place, and then you're good to go. So I really hope that helped you guys. If you have any more questions, just leave them below and I'll try my best to answer you as quick as possible. And in the meantime, I'll just see you all in my next video. So make sure you check in for that on Friday and take care. Slán!